Hello and welcome back to Spellhaven, a channel where all are welcome. So if you're new here, please come in and sit down. Let's learn to run D&D together. This is D&D behind the scenes. If I didn't say it already, my name is Jaren, and in this series, you can sit along and follow along as I prepare to run a session of my Sunday night D&D game. We are in session number 2 of my homebrew Forgotten Realms campaign, which I have titled Unremembered Worlds because I like wordplay and that was the best I could do at the time, and it's kind of sticking. So let's get into it. I'm using Notion to run or to keep my notes, so let's get into it. I'm gonna make a new session notes here. I'm using this is the template from Sly Flourish, Mike Shea, patterned after the Lazy Dungeon Master series and way of preparing to run D&D games. If you're unfamiliar with that, Sly Flourish, check it out. It's a fantastic resource as well as just a really good framework for taking notes. So let's go ahead and rename this. This is the 28th, and this is session number 2. Here we go. So we want to review the characters, and then this is actually going to be, I want to put a section in here. I'll have to go in and edit the template, but this is going to be called What Happened Last Time. Our characters. We have Rowan Toole, human warlock, human warlock, male, and this individual sort of escaped some nasty business at their home little settlement called Racine. It's on the outskirts of a forest nearby Elturwood, and currently is in the center of this murder mystery, being framed for the murder of the High Observer Thavius Kreeg. And for the most part, the guards kind of don't really think that he did it, but in order to clear his name, have set him on a task. And additionally, searching for medical aid for his family. We have Aster Strongroot. This is a I think they're a they. And they are a halfling, I believe the paladin, if I remember correctly. Let's check it out. This should link directly to their D&D Beyond. So let's go back to, let's make sure I'm on the right page here. Oh no, where did this page get created? Oh no. Oh no, where did the page go? I know I just made it. Oh no, this page got created somewhere. I don't know where it went. What if I just hit the back button? Oh, is it? Oh, it's because this didn't get saved. Well, let's try it again. It's the 28th, session number, session 02 notes. Okay, there, I should have saved now. Let's put this in old notes as well. Halfling Paladin, that is correct. Halfling Paladin, they simply want to find, they're just kind of looking for a group to protect. And so far, they've found it. Protect. We've got, oh, there we go. Neve, I couldn't remember how to spell the name. Neve Gwindor, half-elf, female, rogue, I believe. I'm learning new characters, bear with me. Second session of the new campaign, and I'm still learning what everybody's doing. Ranger, not rogue. That's right. Little socially awkward, and that is by the player's own admission. And basically looking for looking to make a name for herself. I'm looking to make a name for herself and find Barker Brox, who is a character that they're kind of going to find in the second arc of this campaign. And lastly, oh boy. There we go. Razan Hylul. And this character is Drow. I think I want to say male, could be they also. He, they. They are our campaign's rogue. He, they, rogue. Follower of Elistray. Really trying to just find a way to exist outside of Elturel. They've been kind of just stuck here after escaping the Underdark and the leadership of the Spider Queen. Oh my gosh, I am blanking on all the names today. Lolth. Sheesh. Escaping the leadership of Lolth and found her way via Elistray's leadership to the surface. And then now that Elturel is in current and constant daylight, it's really hard for a drow to exist in that. So they're trying to find a way to exist outside of that and maybe find a way to see the stars again. Wants to visit and or see the stars again. And is also in the Elturian equivalent of a thieves guild, which I have named the Valus Corps because I thought it sounded like a cool name. It's important to start with the characters so we keep the action centered on them and the narrative centered on them. So I want to talk about what happened last time. I don't need to type this all out, but last time in our first session, characters all kind of their paths had already begun to cross here in the middle of the city as Rowan was being escorted to the popular middle-class tavern known as Kerrigan's Plate and Barrel, and is under the watch of the guards. Basically, they commanded him to stay in town for the night and report back to the High Hall with further questions, as he's sort of been the prime suspect of this murder of the High Observer Thavius Kreeg. Some of the other characters recognized him just from various interactions from earlier in the day, and eventually they all sort of convened into Kerrigan's Plate and Barrel and met Brazan. And they all had similar stories, and so that's kind of how they were all intertwined to begin with. And they all went to the High Hall the next morning to kind of give their side of the story and help clear Rowan's name. And essentially what the guards said was like, hey, we're a little bit tied up right now because Midsummer Festival is in like 3 days. If you want to wait until after that, we can escort you out to where this mine is. During this murder, the culprit said, hey, stay away from the mine because there's some stuff they're going to find out. And so the guard said, hey, well, if you want to wait, we can escort you out there then. In the meantime, that's kind of what the characters did. They just kind of did stuff around town, and it was a little bit of montaging of what the Midsummer Festival would be like. And then they, at the escort of the guards, followed north into where this mine was located. I've done a little bit of redesigning of the Forgotten Realms map, of the Sword Coast map, and I made this little grove of trees called the Elturwood, which is where this mine is located, just north of Elturel. There is a house which is designed to look like a lighthouse that exists out here, and it's sort of like, wait, why is there a lighthouse just kind of in the middle of the plains, basically up on a hill? You usually see lighthouses on the coast. Why is this one here? And this has to do with this whole backstory. There's a character that I wanted to play for a while, and I thought, well, what if I just took that backstory into the campaign so I don't have to wait? So that's kind of what this is. And I tied it to this whole business of what's in the mine. Creatures came out of the mine and killed the High Observer because the former residents of this lighthouse, which is just designed to look like a lighthouse, found this mine at the edge of their property and started looking into it, finding all these magical stones and gems that they could mine deep from within, and growing tired of just the dangers of mining that and getting scars all over their arms and whatnot, and just how time consuming it was to go and get these a little bit at a time and sell them off for money. Decided they're going to try to find a deal and sell it off to the local government, and that's kind of what happened. Unfortunately, one of those people ended up dying in the process, as the Elturian forces didn't even give a heads up and just started coming in with their machines and started mining. One of them got killed. And that's sort of a tragic story. So now there is the ghost of one of those people in this lighthouse at the edge of the Elturwood. So when characters eventually go there, they can have a chance to interact with this ghost, get some information, maybe get shooed out, as that ghost is gonna not be so friendly when the storm eventually comes in the middle of the night. But they could either have the chance to sort of like go into the mine directly where this big hole is, where the Elturian machines started digging, and they're gonna have to figure out how to get down there because it's gonna be a pretty hefty drop. Or they take the risk and try to shimmy their way down the way that the former residents did. And there's going to be some checks and stuff involved there. But they can, eventually make their way into the very, very interior, where this sort of alternate realm exists and has somehow gotten crossed into this plane. And it's taken from this whole business with the Radiant Citadel. I'm stealing some ideas from here. This whole business of in here they are called the Incarnates. They are these shards of crystal that sometimes they make up a smaller animal, and there's maybe 15 of these little crystals, and sometimes they join up in the hundreds and even thousands to form the Dawn Incarnates, which are these 15-foot tall creatures, and they're the collection of souls of important people that have passed. And I thought that idea was really cool when I initially got this source book. But then you read through the adventures and they don't really deal with the Incarnates. So I thought, well, it's kind of a shame, but I can use that here for sure. So that's what they're going to find down here. And so the reason that this whole murder existed in the first place, Elturian forces came in and started mining, not realizing they were basically killing the souls of the deceased, killing these Incarnates, basically. And so that was retaliation. It was, hey, we will kill your leadership just as a warning to stay off of our territory. And so characters are going to get a chance to find this out and see that, wait a minute, maybe it's a bit complicated and it's not a simple go kill bad guy because bad guy do bad things. There's going to be some decisions. I want this campaign to be very morally kind of in the middle, and for the decisions to not be so black and white. So we'll see. And if they decide that they can ally with these Incarnates, or Eternals as I might be calling them, then they've got a good ally on their side. How this is going to be extended, though, is, and I guess I'm sort of getting into some later stuff here. We'll go ahead and fill this out in a second. But as they're going to delve into this mine, and actually get to talk to these Incarnates, they're going to find out that the Elturian forces, when they came down here to do all this mining, ended up corrupting some of this realm down here. And so as part of the deal of like, hey, if you don't want to be on our bad side, you can go and clear out this corruption. And I'm not exactly sure what that's going to be yet. We'll see. I kind of have some ideas. One of the major behind the scenes characters of this campaign is this overlord, this overgod named Ao. And I might have that sort of pertain to that. Maybe part of his essence is like creeping through, and they don't necessarily go and like kill an overgod because they're level 1, but maybe whatever corruption is caused here, or if it has to do with Ao, they don't really like destroy it. They just defeat enough of it to sort of press it back beyond its boundary, and like some passageway closes up or something like that. So that they know, whatever I can do to make them know that, hey, there's some really bad stuff that we can't really deal with right now, but we can maybe like close up this little tiny hole in the sinking ship, so to speak. So I think that's the way I'm going to go. And like sort of after this arc's done, that'll be the level up time. So that's sort of how I'm envisioning this session. I got a little bit into some other things. Our strong start tonight is they begin with the combat. So we're starting strong as they were still going through this Elturwood to find this mine. 3 of these corrupted crystalline wolves came out of the forest and started attacking them. And so that's where we'll begin today. Now, these creatures were they're a bit corrupted. They were given a directive to just defend the boundaries. But they're unlike the other Incarnates in that these ones are aggressive. The other ones are not. They're more just defending the territory, and they were given a mission of go out and get justice and revenge. And once that's done, we're not going to go out and aggressively just kill whatever we see. These, however, dealing with part of the corruption caused by the Elturian forces. And so they are definitely attacking the characters. And that's where we start tonight, our first combat of the new campaign. So very exciting. So that is our strong start. As characters are proceeding through the Elturwood towards mysterious gem mine, 3 crystalline wolves attack from all sides. Roll inish. Our scenes, combat, lighthouse, which sort of pertains to all the secrets and clues, gem mine navigation, and lastly, interaction with the Eternals / Incarnates. I kind of like, I don't know, I like both names, I'm not sure. And I'm going to call this, this is part of the editing I need to do, narrative beats. Scenes to me, the term scenes to me implies actual locations, you know, but when I'm picturing these narrative beats, I don't necessarily picture them in being in a specific location. I'm thinking, here's some points of information that I want to get to. Here's some, you know, some chapter ends, if you will, of this particular session. And I don't necessarily tie them to locations. Secrets and clues, I've kind of gone over a bunch of that already. I'm going to type this out off screen so it's not just me typing away here. NPCs, let's delete some of this. What I've got, who are our key NPCs here? We have, and I'm gonna after this session, after the video, I'm gonna go and you know, do some name generation. But basically, we've got the there's this 15-foot tall tiger, which is the leader. There was a figure that had a lion face. Who he is sort of the sort of an emissary. Those are sort of the 2 big ones. I don't know that we have any more that are going to be necessary here. Oh, then there's also the crystalline stag, who I also have to come up with a name for, but I thought this would be very cool. As Neve has been tasked, part of one of Neve's initial quests coming into Elturel, she found this job posting posted by the companions that said, hey, we'll pay 25 gold to somebody that hunts down the crystalline stag, 50 gold for it alive. And I think what would be really cool is if this stag saw Neve and there was a moment of connection and she heard this thing say like, hey, why do I feel a connection? You look familiar. I feel there's like a bond somewhere. And she can find out that they have the same, like this is the spirit of a dead relative from her lineage, like centuries ago. I thought that would be really cool. And then it's sort of like, you know, it just plays more into that moral gray area. So, spirit of a dead relative of Neve. So our monsters today, I'm using all homebrew stuff, so we'll see how it goes. But I do have custom stat blocks that I made last time. Those I made them with a stat block generator, and I just kind of took some stat blocks from a different creature and pasted it into this thing. So I went ahead and made myself some custom stat blocks. So I've got, excuse me, a stat block for the unstable incarnates, which is these crystalline wolves. Then if they end up fighting this ghost / hag creature, which is the dead person at the lighthouse. I have a stat block for that as well. I don't remember what I used for this, but it's not intended to be a hard fight, and it's not going to outright kill this creature. The other stat blocks that I might need for encounters, if they decide to attack these incarnates, like the stag or some of the leaders, I think I'm just going to wing that one, and really make it clear that you guys can't kill these things right now because they're going to be pretty powerful. And I don't think I'm going to make the incarnates aggressive enough to just straight up kill them. I'm not trying to TPK the party at level 1. And the second session, if there is violence to be had with the incarnates, it's more or less going to be a demonstration of power, and not a let's kill you. You know, it might be this lion figure swoops in with a big crystalline paw and, you know, grabs the character and, you know, is super menacing and threatening and that sort of stuff. I'm not going to outright get into combat with it, and I don't think I'm going to need stats either. So a lot of the dice rolling I think we're going to have tonight besides this combat is going to be in the exploration, in these, you know, this point crawl in the mine itself. I kind of have some ideas. I would like to write this out. I'll do that after the video, of different areas that I want to do. You know, maybe there's one where they have to shimmy down a very narrow passageway and make a dex save, or else they get scars and take 1d6 piercing damage or something. And maybe there's a ledge they have to drop from to kind of keep on going through this and make their way and duck through passages and that sort of stuff. Make them cross a gap and come up with a creative way. So I want to actually write that down, but I don't need a map for that. So I think that's going to do it for tonight. Where we go from here is still up in the air, but I don't imagine that we're going to get through all of this tonight. But I do want to have more than what I think I'll need, and I think I do. I will say though that compared to past campaigns, you know, where if I've run written adventures prior to this, when we ran Spelljammer before this campaign, before that was Frostmaiden, Realm of the Frostmaiden. And what's really different is in the note-taking. So, for instance, in note-taking with written campaigns, it's a lot of like finding things in the book and putting down the relevant things and making tweaks based on what we're doing in the campaign that might be different from the book. And here, this has been interesting because my notes, I think, have been a lot less, because a lot of what I know is already up in my head. I've been thinking about this all week. So I already know like a lot of what I need to have at my fingertips, and I don't really feel like I need to write it down. I do need to write down very specific things that I want to reveal, specific things I want to remember and make hyperlinks to. But a lot of the bigger details, I just find that I just have them in my head already, you know? I don't really need to write them down. So I think in this particular series of session prep, it's going to be a lot of me talking about my ideas, and I think more or less being a campaign journal, so that if some point down the road I want to go back and go, oh my gosh, I can't believe I thought that was going to be a good idea in the second session, or I thought it would go a different way, and I can look back and go, wow, crazy how we established that in the second session, and here it is still a thing in session number 32 or whatever. So if you found this helpful at all, let me know. If you want to see more of anything else in this channel, let me know. But I think that's going to do it. Thanks for sitting around and learning to prep for D&D with me. My name is Jaren, this is Spellhaven, and I'll see you next time.